We're live, I think. Yay.
Yay!
Happy November 1st, guys, or 2nd. What time zones? It could be the 2nd already. But welcome to our fourth Write-Together-a-Thon stream for the day. Um, I already see a lot of people saying hi in the chat, but feel free to say hi. How are y'all? Um, how's Nano going? Have you like gotten any words done today? Where you're coming from? What number of NaNoWriMo are you on? Are you on your first one? Are you on your 50th? Wait, well, you can't really be on your 50th, but either
You have a
one.
time machine.
You went in the future and then came back. Um, okay. Seeing those people saying hi from everywhere. See some Australia, Connecticut, Ohio, South Carolina, bunch of places. Okay, so while y'all do that, I'll introduce what we're doing for this for the next for the live stream. So first off, I'm Josie. I'm the programs associate at Nano. What I'm doing this November is just working on what I was doing last NaNoWriMo, which is basically like a project I've done since I was like a kid. And I'm finally like sitting down and writing it. It's about like dimension travelers and stuff. And now for the live stream, well, I'm super excited to be here with our guest. And basically, we'll get a little behind the scenes look at our guest writer's author's writing process. And then we'll spend most of the time of the stream writing, like 20 minutes or so. And so make sure you have your Nano project up and ready to write together with Emily, our wonderful author guest. So let me read her pretty cool author bio. So let me see. There we go. Okay. So welcome to Emily X.R. Pan is the New York Times bestselling author of The Astonishing Color of After, which won the APLA Honor Award and Walter Honor Award. It was also a finalist for the LA Times Book Prize, on the list for the Carnegie Medal, and named by Time Magazine as one of the 100 best YA books of all time. Her latest novel, An Arrow to the Moon, was an instant national bestseller, a Locus Award finalist, a CALA Award nominee, and featured NPR's Best Books of 2022. You can find her on social media at EXR Pan. And we'll drop some links to some of her books. And yeah,
Thank you so
um,
much.
and okay. So Emily, want to as we get drop those links down, well, we're always like wondering like what's the process of like authors because they're published authors. It's like, oh, that's the goal of a lot of writers to get published and get out there. So if you can like share your like writing secrets to the world, or maybe like NaNoWriMo secrets if you have them, any
Well,
writing
the
rituals.
the really terrifying thing is that every single novel I've written, and I've written many novels that will never see the light of day. So I wrote many, many novels before I became a published author. And the really terrifying thing is that every single one of them has required a different writing process for me. So when I begin a novel, I spend the first forever trying to figure out what the writing process for that project is even going to look like. So it's very chaotic. It's also, it can be really nerve-wracking, and you know, there's this quote from Zadie Smith where she says that writing is a confidence game. The person you have to trick into confidence is yourself. So we're perpetually trying to con ourselves. Like, we're telling ourselves, yes, we can write an entire novel, and I have to keep the spark going. I have to keep figuring out, okay, what is most interesting to me in this moment right now? What am I most attached to about this character? What is keeping me going? And that question is kind of the driving force for me, because if I'm not having fun, if I'm not enjoying what is happening in my writing, then I can't expect the reader to be enjoying what's happening in the writing. So I don't know if that's really so much of a process thing, but I have so many different tips and tricks for, sitting the butt in the chair in order to get writing done. I have this little like timer where, I can set like the amount of time that I want to write for, and then it starts going, and I only have to write for like say 10 minutes, or I only have to write for 20 minutes, and it's low stakes. I'm just trying to get as many words down as I possibly can in that time. I've also done NaNoWriMo for many, many years. I do NaNoWriMo every year. I swear by it because it's kind of like training for a marathon. So you might feel a little bit out of sorts beforehand, but once you get into that rhythm of like every day, I'm going to try to write, 1,600 words, 2,000 words, 500 words, whatever your goal is, it starts to sort of recalibrate your brain. And I feel like it does wonders for the creative process. So I really believe in trying to achieve NaNoWriMo, but doing it in these like manageable small pieces. So I chunk everything down. Everything is like, okay, can I just write this next paragraph? Or can I just write this next scene? Or can I challenge myself to just write 100 words right now? So we're not thinking about the end goal of like, oh, I need to write an entire novel. I need to write 50,000 words, or even I need to write 1,667 words for the day, because that can feel overwhelming, right? But if somebody were to ask you, can you sit down right now and write 50 words? That feels so doable, right? It's like, oh, sure, I could do 50 words. Like I have the discipline to sit butt in chair right now and produce 50 words. And they don't have to be 50 perfect words. They don't even have to be good words. You're just trying to tell yourself a story and experience a narrative arc. So that's kind of, the mentality that I try to approach things with. I also will do a lot of writing longhand because I'm convinced that switching from the keyboard and the screen to a notebook and pen really shakes something free. I'm pretty sure they use different parts of the brain. So if I'm feeling stuck, or if I just need a way to warm up, I'll start by journaling longhand. I might even ask myself, what am I trying to accomplish in this scene? So I'm not writing actual story yet. I'm just kind of having a conversation with myself in my notebook. And once that happens, it frees up something and I start to be able to write actual sentences. And then I can type those sentences onto the screen, and suddenly I don't have a blank page anymore, because the blank page is what feels like the enemy. The blank page is like, oh my God, I'm like charging into the unknown here. But if I put something down on the page, then my brain can start to, continue on from those words.
I also have the second writing in longhand, and that's like basically for the same exact reasons. Like longhand is just like so much less scarier. I think it's the cursor, like the blinking cursor of the white page is so intimidating. But a blank
Well,
page isn't the same thing. You can scribble and be like, oh, this counts as it's not blank anymore. And now I have something here. Now I can write.
I feel like also the way that the keyboard puts things in like an actual font, like things are actually printed, it feels so real and official. Like the stakes feel kind of high. Whereas if I'm just scribbling in my notebook, my handwriting is messy. Things are, maybe I'm crossing things out and I'm drawing arrows in various directions. Like I'm allowed to be messy. I'm allowed to treat it as scrap paper. And that is very freeing for me. So just trying to find any trick that you can that allows you to sort of tap into creating any words at all. I feel like it's like you just want to find that pathway, and then you can sort of open things up for your brain.
Looking at the chat, I'm seeing people like discuss like if they like long writing or talk to or typing. I see some people talking about voice apps, so talk to text.
Oh, yeah, I know a lot of people who use that, especially if you have carpal tunnel or if you're just
Mhm.
tired of like staring at a screen all day. And I think it's brilliant if your brain works that way. My brain, I feel like I think my words out through my fingers. Like I almost don't know what to say until I have typed it, which I think is probably an experience that a lot of people who spend all day typing feel. But I also think back to, I don't know if anyone else had teachers talk about this when they were kids and writing, but the idea of longhand writing translating into automatic writing, where like as you're finishing a sentence, your brain's already spinning out the next several sentences. I think that really creates momentum for me. So at a certain point, when I'm writing by longhand, I start to get really impatient because my thoughts are coming faster than I can write them. And that's the cue for me that, oh, it's time to move to the screen. And then I can pick up there.
Yeah, I can also definitely relate to that. It's fun like hearing for like how other people write because it's like, oh, we kind of do like the same things no matter like who we
Yeah, I
are
mean, we don't need to
sometimes.
reinvent the wheel
Yeah.
every time. Like writing is writing. I think the key thing is to write something that you're actually invested in, and to let yourself get swept up in it. Like it's so daunting to think about writing an entire novel. I like to think about it kind of like the Great Wall of China. Like if you were to stand on the Great Wall of China and just look out at it, it's overwhelmingly huge. It boggles the mind because it's so huge. You can't set out with a project thinking, oh, I'm going to build the entire Great Wall right now. All you can do is lay each brick one at a time. So you can only look at what's directly in front of you. And that's kind of how I think about chunking, as I was saying before. Like I break things down into bite-sized pieces. So I'll ask myself, in this scene, what do I want to have happen? What's the first thing that's going to happen? Maybe character A is going to meet character B. So that's all my goal is right now. My goal is just to have these two characters meet. Or maybe character A has to discover something. Maybe they find buried treasure or something. So that's all that I'm going to focus right now. Focus on right now is getting them to that buried treasure. So when I break things down into these manageable bites, it becomes a lot easier to imagine moving forward. And then one brick at a time, you end up building up this giant thing.
Okay, that's like great advice. Definitely keep chunking in mind when as I write. Maybe some of y'all will keep that in mind too. But speaking of writing, we do want to spend some time actually writing during this live stream. So I'm thinking we'll write for about 20 minutes, and Emily has a prompt to share with y'all. You don't have to follow this prompt if you don't want to. It's just there to inspire you. And if it doesn't feel like something you want to, like it doesn't bring you joy in that moment, then you don't have to use it at all. Just do whatever you're doing right now. The point is to write whatever you want to. Turn off that inner editor, turn off like that brain filter. It does not matter right now. You are writing for those 20 minutes.
Yeah, you're just having fun for 20 minutes. So the prompt that I'm going to offer you, and again, it's totally optional, is your character is standing in front of a door that will change everything. So if you would like to take this prompt, write the scene where your character opens that door.
And that prompt will be shared in the chat in a little bit. So don't worry if you like miss that out. Anyway, oh yeah, there it is. Thank you, chat. Okay, and it's pinned on the chat. If the chat goes too fast. So let me turn on that timer. Where is it? Okay, there it is. So it'll be like right on, we'll write until about 35, like right on 35. Okay. So have fun, guys. See you on the other side. And that's time. Um, I'll give everyone a few seconds to come back from that writing state because I know once you're in that groove, it's really hard to get out of it. Um, but I really enjoyed that prompt actually. I think I wrote about like 500 words, and I didn't think that I could like relate it to like my story, but then I actually like used it, and I was like, wait, this is like the next thing, like exactly.
Oh, I love that so much. I don't know how many words I did. I have to go and look. Um, a couple hundred, it looks like. I write in Scrivener, so there's a little bit of a chaotic organizing of documents happening. But I started the prompt and then I needed to do research, so I ended up in a little bit of a research hole, but it was still productive.
Um, checking the chat, seeing how everyone's going. But yeah, make sure y'all can feel free to share a word count or an excerpt or just how that made you feel. Like writing is so exciting. I feel like I haven't written all day, and it's like my first time like getting a chance to write today, and I'm like, whoa, I miss writing. I like doing this.
There's also always something really special about the very first day of NaNoWriMo when I just think about how people all over the world are all sitting down to write. And it feels like there's this collective brain energy that's probably shared between all of us. And that makes me really happy.
Okay, so true. Let me see if I can read what's going on. Oh, the chat going kind of fast. I see 530, 250, 742. Dang.
Whoa.
456, 428, 1,200. Okay, some of y'all write like type super fast. Um,
Good job.
I also remember, guys, it's also not like a race. So if y'all just only wrote like 100 or you wrote the prompt down, that's still cool. You wrote something. Um, let's see. Eh, Um, I'll read some of these out loud. Let's see. Darlene says that was the first chance to write today, and I love the first day of Nano. So glad to be among so many awesome brains. And let's see what else. Oh, Baylor says I didn't have a main character until that prompt, but I think I do now. That's
Oh
so
my
cool.
gosh. Well, that's like really exciting.
Um, I see brain emojis. Oh, and I see a nice color from Abigail. I wish you guys, as in us, could see the nods and smiles or hear the laughs that I know are happening all over the world as we enjoy this.
Aw.
That's so sweet. But yeah, I hope y'all are actually like getting a lot done today. Um, let's see what else is there. Grace says I was working on some difficulty, so I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to get the scene right. I was working pretty slow towards the end there. That's okay too. You know what? I feel like that was me during this. Like, okay, I don't know about y'all, but like when I start sprints, it's like it's really slow at first, and then like you get like really into it, and then at the end you like check the time and you're like, wait, hold on, this is like, and then you're like out of it. That's just me though.
I've also noticed that depending on where in the story I am, sometimes things go really fast and sometimes things are so slow. It's like I'm dragging my feet, and that's totally okay. That's just part of the process. So don't be down on yourself if, things are feeling slow. I know for me, the beginning of a story always feels especially slow because it's kind of like if you're starting out to like paint a picture, right? Like you're mixing your colors at the beginning. You're trying to figure out what you want the color palette to look like. You're trying to figure out what your vision really is for the story. And so the first, I'll say like 10 to 15,000 words are always the slowest for me. And then I will usually end up in a momentum by the time I get past that. But there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, like I feel that for the beginning. Especially if you're like not really sure where your story is going at this point. Um, like since I'm working on something I've been working on, then like I kind of know where I'm going. I still don't know where I'm going half the time, but I kind of know where I am. But I know some of you are just like starting out with like nothing, and like a lot of that writing process is just like discovering it. I know some people call themselves discovery writers, where like you don't know what's going to happen until you write it, and I think that's like a great term actually, because I feel like that is the writing process. It's just discovering things.
Well, even if I outline, even if I do a lot of outlining, I'm still discovering the entire time,
Yeah,
right? Like I will still end up deviating from what I've outlined because at some point the story kind of takes on a mind of its own and then it's more exciting to go where that wants to go organically.
let's see. Yep. Shout out to all the discovery writers out there, and then some of them are like going, yeah. Um, some people are talking about how it's not the beginning that like gets them, but it's the middle.
Oh, the murky
Oh
middle.
gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, because sometimes it can be so easy to envision your beginning and your end, and then you're trying to figure out what exactly are all the steps in between. So I can relate to that, but I'm a chronic rewriter, so I'll write many drafts of a story, and oftentimes it's me discovering new things on every iteration, and that's kind of how I get through the murky middle.
Yeah, I'm like, I feel like that's what also happens to me. I'm just like, I never know what's gonna happen in the middle. But as I keep revisiting a story, I'm like, wait, I think the pieces are coming, like really slowly, but it's coming to me, and I'll figure it out one day. I know y'all will too. Um, oh, and we do have time, like a little time, and left, and I want to make sure we drop a bunch of links that okay. But as we like wrap things up in these last few minutes, guys, remember to update your word count because or even like make sure you go on the site and actually announce your project or your goal because I didn't like announce mine until like yesterday because I forgot. So make sure y'all do the same thing and make sure you update your word count because half of the fun of Nano, I feel, is watching those numbers, like that little graph, go up, and it's just very satisfying. And you want to make sure you
It's
do
like
that.
the instant validation. The graph
Yeah.
gives you like this feeling of like, oh, I've been productive. It like illustrates it in front of your face. Yeah, I have to update my word count too. I have my official NaNoWriMo page set up if anyone wants to follow my progress for
Ooh.
added accountability.
Yeah, we can add that link too. And also the rest of these links. Let's see, we got the rest of the live streams. You can watch the previous ones from that link, which for earlier in the day. And we also have one coming up in the like 1.5 hours or 1 hour ish. I can't do math right now. I'm a writer, guys. I'm sorry. I also have a bunch of events the rest of November. Um, so either like so there's the calendar. So make sure you keep take a look at that because we have plenty of virtual write-ins and we have plenty of webcasts and or meetups where you can meet with other writers. It's pretty cool here, I think. And also here's our help email just in case you ran into any problems during Nano. And yeah. Um, Emily, do you have anything else you want to share to the
Well, yeah,
people?
just to mention that the paperback of An Arrow to the Moon just came out yesterday.
Ooh,
If you
perfect
haven't read it
timing.
yet, it is now, I know some people really prefer the paperback experience. It's lighter and easier to throw in your bag. Um, but yeah, you can grab that from any book retailer.
Yeah, and that link was there earlier, but we can also share it again. Yeah. And we also have yeah, there's that link. Okay. It will come eventually. There we go. My chat was lagging. I was like, where's all my links? They're down there. Anyway, um, well, that's the end of our stream. Emily, you got like any last words of encouragement before we head out?
I think don't let a bad day discourage you. You know, um, just because you have a lower word count on one day does not, it has no bearing on any of the other days, or just because there's a day when like life gets out of hand and you cannot sit down and write has no bearing on any of the other days. When it's a new day, it's just you get to reset. So sit the butt in the chair, or be at your treadmill desk, whatever your setup is, and just think about the next immediate chunk. Like, I'm going to have my character do blank and not worry so much about writing a whole novel. I have to tell myself that constantly. Like, I get really overwhelmed by the idea of, oh my God, I'm on deadline. I'm supposed to turn in a whole book. How am I going to do this? So that's the only way forward.
Yeah, like sometimes you're just writing, guys. Sometimes words, it's just sometimes writing is just words. I can totally talk right now. But yeah.
Also,
Oh
writing is
yeah.
thinking. So if you have a day where you do more thinking than writing, you still wrote. Just because your word count didn't go up does not mean that you failed at all. Like, writing, so much of writing, probably the majority of writing, is actually thinking.
Yeah. And oh yeah, and then like everyone's asking, what is your nano name on the site? Is
Oh,
it
it's the same as all my social media. So
okay.
EXR Pan.
Okay. So y'all can all go find her and go look. You can see her graph, make sure she's
Yeah, I haven't updated my word count yet today. I gotta go do that.
okay. Anyway, that's all the time we have today. Thanks guys for watching and
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for having me.
yeah. And good luck guys. Good luck on your good luck this whole November. Y'all got it. The words will come to you eventually. Maybe not now, but they'll come to you.